day, everybody. Chris from Invesrep here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. All right, today's little talk is not going to be something educational or how to do something. This is a very good example of when you know the basics on how quickly you can salvage a bad situation. So Monday night, I got a message from a guy saying that he needs to donate all his snakes on very short notice, and if I wouldn't mind coming to collect them. I said, well, not a problem. Send me the species list with the picture in mind that I can actually start preparing the enclosures per species orientated, get the heat right, get humidity, let the enclosures settle out before they arrive. Wednesday morning, I got greeted by a shocking picture. Number one of the species we've got is a blood python. And for those of you that know blood pythons, they're not a beginner snake. They're pretty intermediate. They are, if the basics are met, they're pretty easy to keep. But what I got produced was a blood python in a fish tank. That was his enclosure. And when I say fish tank, wooden lids on top, so basically ventilation was non-existent. Newspaper, and the defecation in there was so old, was actually turning into powder. The newspaper was crumbling up. Do you know how bad newspaper needs to be and how old it needs to be to crumble up? And this guy had problem sheds for days. The face basically flipped up. The entire body was covered in a problem shed. Here's a picture when I got him. And when I say a problem shed, you can spot a problem shed from a day or two. It's still flexible. You can still work with it. This was a skin that's been on there for quite a while. I can't say how long, but I can tell you definitely not just a week or two. That's how bad it was. So here's a picture of when I got him. He was dead in my hands. Didn't have any fight in him whatsoever. He just, you can see he was pretty disappointed in life and people in general. Now, he's actually acting like a blood python. I need to be a bit more careful in taking him out. He's pretty calm by nature, but here's the guy. Same guy. You'll never think, I just don't want to get nipped by him. But yeah, he's doing pretty well. You can see the tongue flickering is pretty active. It's not slow flicks. He's got his temp, he's got his humidity, and he's running the way he should. The enclosure, I've got the basics covered, and there we go. And yeah, he's actually doing all right now. The only thing is the only one of all these rescues that hasn't taken food yet. I've got a funny feeling he's used to live. I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to try if I can see to get some freshly stunned rats and see if he takes that. Here's the second one. He was one of the better ones, little copperhead. He actually doesn't look too bad. He's got a hell of a feeding reaction, which is great to see, especially on rescues. And yeah, he's doing very, very well. Compared to some of the others. We're actually going to get to the worst case scenarios. So visually, the blood python was extremely neglected and was not in a good state. Here's one of the feistier snakes. I'm just not going to take venomous out. Number one, I don't have a lot of space here. And number two, cameras and venomous stuff generally doesn't go down well with each other. He's a bit jerky, but little yellow anaconda, and he's smashing it. He was a bit dehydrated, but within a day with the right setup, I can actually feel he's been loving his hotspot. I can actually feel he's the same temperature as me, so which tells me that that's ideal. That's what you want. You don't want to feel a cold snake. That means he's utilizing his heat source as he should. So just before I continue, what I've done is obviously, because the circumstances has changed, I came home, dropped them off, treated them for mites, started up the incubator at 30 degrees Celsius, took wet moss, got the blood python in the incubator to start tackling the problem shed. and went to town, went and bought fresh substrate, fresh moss, fresh water bowls, fresh containers, everything, number one, for cross-contamination. And number two is I realized these guys are not going down to our facilities. They're going to have to stay in my lounge till I can confirm there's nothing underlying going on with them. Whether it be mites, respiratory infection, or anything contagious, I'm just not going to risk my collection for this. But here's one of the, just want to make sure if it's this one. Yeah, this is one of the more sad stories. Is this little Bradley python. Number one, it actually went through the water bowl onto her shavings. But there is a bittersweet ending to this one. So number one, on the back there, where my fingers are, I don't know if you can see. So there's the first laceration. I wasn't too concerned about that. I'm a bit concerned about this, and I'm actually treating it currently. That's a pretty bad laceration. The good thing is, she actually takes frozen thawed. You can see the lump where my thumb is. So she actually took frozen thawed yesterday. So I don't know what's the excuse why there's lacerations on this snake. One of the tubs that arrived actually had shards of glass in it, but I can't imagine that being the case. I've got a funny feeling this guy was feeding live, which is not on. If you got a snake that's taking frozen thawed, why would you risk your snake of being chewed up? The male, he's quite all right, and super gentle, super docile. He's a bit active, but he's in. There's his little mouse lump. He's in all right nick. He's salvageable. I was actually hoping the female would be in a similar state, and even the runt of the litter in my Bradleys that hatched, these are smaller, but they're taking frozen thawed, so it doesn't add up. They just had a go at me. I spoke too soon about them being calm. They realize they're snakes and they can actually get their way. So I'm just gonna put him down because a biting snake indicates he's stressing out a bit, and I think these guys have had enough stress in their lives for me to add to that. And then here is the one baby that I was extremely concerned about. Didn't think anything of it, but when I took her out, I just confirmed sex 100%, but when I took her out, you can see the skin is still a bit wrinkly, so that's severe dehydration right there. I can't see any signs of shedding because that'll also indicate sometimes that there's a problem shed. But I checked on the lips and everything. This is just purely dehydration. And there's something going on in the sense of it's a stripe on the side. One of my buddies confirmed there's definitely motley involved here, but it's got stripes on the side, extremely dark. You can see there's no coloration on the tail. The tail's basically pitch black. And she was probably the most reluctant to take food, but it's so bad I can feel the spine without even reaching in there. Just rubbing the back, I can feel the spine. So, and I bumped up her hotspot to about 32 and bumped up the humidity, and that seemed to have done the trick. She is now eating. She took 2 mice yesterday, but she did struggle. She's pretty weak. It doesn't look like that on camera. She's extremely weak. When she picks up her head, she drops down. Extremely underfed, extremely dehydrated. So she's going to take a while to recover. So, but these are all temporary enclosures. So I'm going to show you now. So the setups that I've got here, everything that I've been preaching and talking about in my videos, I just went and I applied it in my living room in containers. And when I say containers, I know these containers aren't the ideal size, but due to the circumstances, that's all I can get my hands on, number one. And number two is my living room just became a quarantine facility. So I've got heat pads at the back here, and then per species, as you can see, here's the little copperhead. That's dry moss at the back there that is utilizing as a hiding spot. And the reason I'm doing that is once I'm done, all these substrate, all these moss, everything will be chucked out. It won't be reused. So I don't want to spend too much. And this operation has already cost me a couple of thousand. And the anaconda, you can actually see the humidity on there. And yeah, he's actually doing extremely well. And also you can see he's loving heat and mice at the moment, and he just wants to give me a whole ton of love every time I open it up. Same with the copperheads, also hell of feeding reaction. So yeah, Brettleys also all of them very simple setups, but I've covered them with heat, food, water, and humidity per species. And that's the basics that it blows my mind that people can't get the basics right. A lot of people saying, "I thank you so much," and all that. And this is not ideal. This is the bare minimum that you need to supply a reptile for it to just survive, not even thrive. So these guys will stay in these temporary enclosures for quite a while. And when I say a while, probably about a month. Let me just check. I will, over time, about next week, upgrade the size of the enclosures, clean them out, make sure everything is fine. But they will not be going down to my facility. What I've also decided what I'm going to do with this is I'm actually going to donate all of them to eager keepers. Like the two Brettleys is actually going to a standing client of mine. The copperhead, the Western Diamondbacks, the Diamondbacks are minute. I'm going to take them out, and they're in the racking system next to the table here. So the thing is, when I open it up, they're going to jump out. Everything that opens that lid now is food. Fair game. And small venomous snakes and small spaces normally don't mix well. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers. So yeah, basic setup. What I will do, I just want to tell you the story, give you updates on how they're doing, and what I will do before they head out to their forever homes, I'll bring you an update on how they're actually doing as well. But here's just some examples of the enclosure I've got them set up in. Very simple, very basic, but it does work for now. They've got heat at the back, gradient runs through, water in the front, the humidity species, I'm moving the water bowls at the back. I'm actually heading to town today to get bigger water bowls for the yellow anaconda and for the blood python. The rest of the guys, they working out as is. So that's just an update. I didn't plan on this talk, but I felt, well, let's do it so that everyone can get an update and just show what covering the basics can do to a snake's living standards compared to when I received them and was in front of me. It's not the same snakes. But yeah, we'll keep you updated. Guys, that's it. If you can, please subscribe to our channel, like our channel, switch on notifications. We're in baby shoes, but we're getting there, slowly but surely. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next week.